I'm live. Hi, goats. Don Rose was right. I do indeed have new hair. Let me get to where I can see myself. Okay, good. I've been wanting a side shave for a while, so I went ahead and did it. First, a couple weeks ago, I had done like the undershave just to see if I liked it, and I did. You can see it's a little bit hard. Like I'm looking at me at myself. It's a bit hard to like shave all the way up to the edge where my hair is long, so I have a bit of like a short, almost mohawk thing going on, but that's fine. In the phone game I've been playing, Sky Children of the Light, my Sky character has a mohawk, so my other, but that's in the beta version because I'm a beta tester. Then in live, which is the main game, my character has a side shave. So I've been looking at those hairs for like weeks, going Also, I'm so glad that I no longer have to try to comb the left side because I could never get it quite untangled. So anyway, sparkling water time. Let me know how you're doing if you're either watching live or in the comments. This is my mug with the character Rain on it from the webcomic Rain by Jocelyn Samara, I think. One of my favorite webcomics. It's about a trans girl who just goes through school and like it's a slice of life comic. As you can see, it's she's got the trans flag umbrella, and it's an umbrella because her name is Rain. And it was always kind of funny how this character is named Rain and she's a trans girl, and at one point my name as a trans guy was Rain, so it's just a good name. Right, time for incense. I decided not to bring incense up here last time because I had all of my yarn and I realized, you know, it's going to get in the yarn that I'm going to sell, so I don't know if people want it or can handle the, you know, lingering smell of incense in their yarn. Some people might like it, but just to be safe, I thought I would not burn it that time. But this one is La Galaxia. I don't need a translation to see what that means. It's from the Hem brand. Is it gonna go out? Wow, I guess so. Well, the open flame went out. I'm not sure if it's like smoldering properly, how incense is supposed to be. I kind of always have to light it with the open flame, which this is helpful for, and then yes, new hairstyle, and then I like gently blow it out but keep it smoldering there, like that. You can't really tell, but oh yeah, it's at least a bit, the burning part is lighter, so yes, this is incense, galaxy flavor scent. Yeah, I was telling people, which by which I mean the audience that I imagine in either is watching in the future or like in my head, but yeah, I I've been wanting this hairstyle for a long time, so I finally did it this morning, because I had done like a bit of an undercut, which felt really like a lot at the time, but I just wanted to see, like, okay, do I like this? And I did, but it felt kind of weird to, like, I wanted it to be seen, and I wanted, I ended up going higher on the left side than on the right, and so I was like, well, it feels like I have like an uneven set of ponytails, kind of, so I may as well just get the left one off, because that's the one I want shaved, because it's so hard to like brush the left side of my hair since I'm right-handed. So shaving your head is the most liberating thing ever. Yes, it is. Like, I love my long hair, and I'm not gonna give up what I have now. Like, I think this is where I want to keep it, but like, I wanted an under, like a side shave too. So feels great in the summer. I have to redo mine soon. My regrowth is long. Yeah, I hope you can do that. That's like, it was scary because my hair is so long, because I've never had a major haircut. So I was like, I don't even know how long it takes for me to regrow my hair. Like, when people ask how long did it take you to grow your hair, I'm like, I don't know. I've always had it long. But wow, that incense. Oh, it's blowing right at me. So I was like, wow, that's very incensey, very scented. I think that's because there's a draft going that way. I'll put it over by the window. But yeah, let me know how y'all are doing. Happy ongoing Pride. This is not my yarn, but I finally got a yarn winder. So this is my last skein of Boss Kitty's yarn. It's the purple Nurple, and I love this color. At first I was going to use it for this month's Stitch and Scream square from the Alt Knots blanket, but then I was like, I was looking for a grape pattern of some sort, and I found this shawl, so I was like, well, I kind of just want to make the whole shawl instead of just the square. So I learned filet crochet, which is apparently not as hard as it looks. Like, I was thinking, like, how do you make the mesh though? Like, do you have to buy a mesh and then crochet on it? No, you just make the mesh as you go. So it's not hard. It's just like, this version is chain 2 and then the treble crochet for the open spaces. So it's like a version of mosaic or color work that only involves one type of yarn. So thanks. Yeah, it's I linked the free pattern down below. Actually, it's if you like shawls, and I hear that some of you do. It's a lovely pattern. I haven't gotten to the grapevines yet, but they're like vines and bunches of grapes up here, and it's kind of cool. You, like, over here I'm actually doing the diagonal edge, because you start from one of the sides of the shawl and then go up, I guess, like a right angle, the triangle. When I shaved only one side of my head, I thought I wanted to keep it that way, but I kept wanting to shave the other, so now I have a death hawk. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Yes, yarn winders, like, it was so helpful. I finally opened mine up, and wound a couple balls of yarn, and I was like, wow, I feel so professional now. I don't have random balls of yarn just like rolling everywhere. I have proper cakes. I don't want to, no ball shaming here, yarn balls, but still, it feels a lot better to have this. And I feel like my goats were wondering if it was a carousel for goats, but when Banros tried to write it in that picture that I posted for the post about how my next live is going to be Saturday, like, and well, aside from the Thursday ones, the weekend ones will be Saturday morning, so I don't have to cancel as much, but I felt like it looked a bit uncomfortable for goats to ride, because there are all these like thin metal things, and he kind of has to like sit on them like a broomstick. So, but he hopes that the yarn has fun on the merry-go-round. So I feel like I should post some sped up videos of me winding my my yarn so that people can see what it looks like, and it's kind of just good content. So kind of that the oddly satisfying genre of content. Yeah, no worries. So I think I'm going to get started on my, I guess, the next row of this. I have to look at the chart real quick. I decided while I was chaining to just do more than I knew I would need, because it was 294 chains to start with. So I was like, you know, it's just going to be a fun tail if I end up with extra, and that way I know I have at least as many as I need. I will probably like cut the end and tie it off, but hi Miranda, the welcome in. Pardon my when I try to say hello and someone's name, my stuttering gets worse, so sorry about that, but hi. Today I'm doing my first filet crochet with a free pattern that I linked down below. It's a lovely set of like grapes and grapevines. Let me know how you're doing, or if you're working on a project. I have to look up what's next in the chart. Oh, exciting. We just get a little hint of the grape leaf in this one, in one of the things. Okay. It's interesting, most of the basic filet crochet says, like, it talks about double crochet, but this pattern is treble. So since I'm new at this particular type of crochet, I'm just trying to do exactly what I'm just trying to do exactly what the pattern says, because that feels that feels easier at the moment. So why am I suddenly making a grape shawl? I hope you liked my pun in the thumbnail. Actually, let me rephrase. So this is going to be the witchy part, like witchy pagan storytime part of the live. The other question is, Thorn, how has your life been recently? One word. The word is I'm the Dionysus. No worries. I stuttered when I was younger. I know the frustration. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm also glad that you get it. So thank you. So since I stutter on his name, I'm gonna call him Dio. Actually, that sounds weird. It's like, I haven't seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but there's like a character named Dio, right? And I've been laughing thinking about this meme where he shows up and he's like, "It was me, Dio." Like, I think he's the villain or something. Anyway, Dionysus is one of the gods in the Minoan side of my path, in the tradition I follow over there. He's either a face of or the brother of or both my usual patron, who is, this is going to sound weird, but this is like according to Gnosis, so like things that he told us. Over in Wales, he's Gwyn ap Nudd, and that's the first place I knew him from the first name. And then like in this other tradition that we're kind of rebuilding based on what the gods tell us, and it's not a reconstructionist thing, so we're not trying to do exactly what they did in the past, because frankly we don't know, but it's kind of a I think the word is revivalist. So anyway, the god I know is Gwyn over there. It is also in this path by the name of Cordalos or Vicaro. I may have mentioned my Vicaro path. That's basically a brotherhood of priests, except like very joyful, fabulous, like queer priests who are dedicated to him and kind of take on his name and live as him in the world to like bring him to other people. So so I and one of my friends, my chosen brother Brian, have both been offered the chance to walk that path. And so Cordalos Vicaro is one of three gods we call sons, or like the three sons of the three great mothers, and they can be faces of the same god, or they can be brothers, or like it doesn't really matter for us. It's just like, yes, all of that. So one of our unofficial mottos is in the phrase individuation is problematic. Like, it's not unimportant that someone's an individual with their own personality, but also it's hard to just separate out one without all of the others. So yeah, Forrest Dionysus is one of the sons, and one of his more specifically Minoan names that we use is Divono, and that's the equivalent of Vicaro. So he's been in and out of my life from time to time. But like recently, the last few days, he showed up really strongly, and like I've checked in with my patron to make sure that he's cool with all of this, and like I don't think that his brother would do something that he wouldn't be cool with, but like you know, it just made me feel better, and the only response I've gotten is like, heck yes, like that kind of feeling. Like, yeah, I get it. So just a very joyful feeling, and so there's so similar to Vicaro, there's a monastic brotherhood probably for each of the three sons, and I was invited to walk the Devono path also. Apparently you can walk both that and the one that I was and still am on first previously, and still am. But so yeah, that was happening the last few days, and so grapes and dolphins are very present symbols for me right now, because for us, Dionysus is the son of the sea. So so that's a long answer. That's why I'm making this shawl. It's a devotional for him, and it is also the fact that it's purple. Like I associate him with purple. I feel like that's in the Hellenic lore as well, but I don't know. But it's also a Gnosis thing. I mean, grapes, purple, but like I've always just had this feeling of purple being his color, so I hadn't actually used this third skein of Boss Kitty yarn that I got, so I felt like, well, it's time. And so a lot of new crochet stuff has also happened, or like plans have been made. I made a block too soon on this. It's supposed to be another space, but that's okay. So I'm making a second cardigan apparently after this one. But I am looking forward to completing this first one. It's not the one I'm working on right now, obviously, but like I'm also working on a granny square cardigan of mosaic crochet, and I have 6 squares now. So yeah, thank you for listening to my pagan story time. How are y'all doing? I love how this is starting to really show, like, it's a scalloped pattern kind of, and this is the top the pointy bit. But yeah, I'm not sure if you know the phrase or the term NRE, or new relationship energy, which is from the polyamorous community, but I very much have that at the moment with Dionysus. So it feels a lot like when I first met Gwen, except without the terror. Mostly just because I had never experienced anything like when I met Gwen before. It was just like, well, almost never. It was just like, what is happening? And he can be very intense. Gwen tense. But yeah. Been wanting to buy incense. The convenience store close to me has a good selection, and I never buy any incense, so I don't know what to get. Yeah, it can sort of, the choice can sort of be overwhelming. One thing to think about is what method you have to burn it. It can be really helpful to have like an incense holder like this, where you have the little board with a hole in one side for the stick, if you have this type of incense. I used to just put them in a big, well, big compared to what you would normally find probably, but not like a huge one, but like about that size silver cauldron that I found at a thrift store. And I would put them down with the burning end inside just for the fire safety, but I'm not sure if that, I feel like that didn't help it keep burning all the time, so, because it would kind of get, it kind of had the effect of stop, drop and roll on the burning end. Then I haven't burned this type, but I think there's like slabs of incense, stick incense, but I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with what scents to get. Oh yeah, that, to me I feel like that's the fun part, but also like the part that is, I don't know if you want advice, but it's hard to advise people on because it's so individual. And then sometimes like they have these really cool names that you're not sure what exactly goes into it. Like I love the fact that the one I'm burning right now is called Galaxy, but I don't know what scents are actually in it. Stardust. Then there's one called the Star. There's one that's more descriptive called Cinnamon Rose, which is nice, but yeah, I don't think this says what ingredients is in here. Stars. I got a bunch of novelty yarn from the thrift store. It's very fluffy. I'm holding one strand of worsted weight and one strand of fluffy yarn together and crocheting a very, very fluffy afghan. Nice. Sounds like it will be a fun project to work with and to have as a finished object. Yeah, something soothing sounds like a good choice, and I feel like it's good that you, even if you don't know what to get, you've kind of narrowed it down to what not to get, because you know that rose scents don't work for you. So and like the thing is, you don't know if something has rose in it if it just has like a poetic name. Like I've thought that my Star or Galaxy incense might have rose in it, which I love because that's my favorite scent. But if I couldn't handle that scent, I'd be like, well, if you can't tell me if you have it, then maybe I shouldn't risk it. But hopefully they'll have a lot of incense that does work for you. I meant to take a short video showing the yarn I showed last time in better lighting so that you could see more of it, and I'll probably still do that, but I've brought it inside because it's almost dry. I'll probably film a video of me packing it into these Tupperware plastic storage boxes that I got to like just hold it until the event that I'm going to, since I want to make sure that it just like it's out of the way but also stays safe. So hopefully those will come on Tuesday and I can have my grocery bags back, because right now it's in my the reusable grocery bags from Trader Joe's. Because I, as I'm sure we can all relate, I don't have enough tote bags or like storage for my yarn, and it's hard when you're like trying to keep enough yarn to sell. Rose smells really good, but I had a hex bomb that was rose scented. Ever since that, it gives me the worst headaches. Yeah, then you definitely would want to stay away from rose. Headaches are not fun. All right, we're almost to the tip of the grape leaf, so I have to watch out for that. Other than that, it's just more of this pattern with the tip of the curlicue scalloped pattern on the edge, and then just the empty space in between, which does go fast, which is nice. Now let's see, I think there's 3 empty spaces, and then the block, which is the tip of the grape leaf. Oh, hi, Darla. Welcome in. Patchouli is one of my favorite incense flavors. Not sure if flavor is the right way to describe, because I don't eat them. Well, maybe you don't eat them. No. I realize goats don't actually eat everything, but like, since there is that meme of that joke about them, I'm like, well, maybe I'm channeling a goat for a moment. But yeah, I guess scent is the right word, but it's funny to say flavor. Lilac and lavender help me with anxiety as long as it's not too strong. Yeah, those are good scents too. I tend to love floral scents best. I know that some people are like, it smells like my grandma's couch, or like shampoo, which is valid. Hello, everyone. First time filet crochet. I was kind of laughing thinking about puns along the line of the filet-o-fish. Like if you had a fish pattern on the chart. I was also thinking about I was trying to pick a pun for the thumbnail, and I kept thinking of that meme that I don't know exactly where it's from, but I only know the phrase that they did surgery on a grape. So I've been chuckling to myself saying I did crochet on a grape. So yeah. The pattern I'm doing, by the way, is in the description. It's a free shawl pattern, and you can't really see it right now with what I'm doing, but it has some nice grapevines and bunches of grapes. It's kind of cool how the diagonal edge is constructed right here. So it starts really wide, but as I go up further, then the rows will get shorter. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's nice because with the triangle shawls, when you start from the bottom up, when you have like the excitement of having a new project, the rows are short and easy, and then when you're like, man, I want to finally finish this project, the rows are so long. So I kind of like the fact that my new project excitement is taking care of the long rows, and then as it gets closer to the end and like kind of more of a slog, maybe it at least the rows will be easier to work with. Crocheting a cattail for one of the zombie kitty plushies. After that, the arduous task of assembly. Yeah, that's one of the worst parts about amigurumi or like granny square projects. I'm not doing an amigurumi right now, but I am doing a granny square project, as you know. So best of luck with that. I'm looking forward to getting to like the grapevines, which is the exciting part, but at least this row, it's pretty fast because most of it is empty spaces. And in this version of filet crochet, at least, you create all the empty spaces by just chain 2, treble crochet, chain 2, a treble crochet. So that's not too bad. At least I can go fast. And this purple yarn from Boss Kitty makes me want to do more purples of mine, of my own. Like I had a one-off, just kind of experiment purple that I sent to a friend, and I'll probably do more of that at some point. It was called the Ritual at Dusk, so very purpley name. And I currently have those 2 skeins that were going to be Vampire King, but they were just too different and like purple, so I decided to make them a separate colorway called Song of Liberation. also purple and trans pride cup. The main character from the webcomic Rain, which is a awesome trans coming of age story. But oh yeah, speaking of, like, I thought of this because of my yarn that's my accidental new colorway, which I called the Song of Liberation. That made me think of one of the funny stories from the past few days that I wanted to share with you. So, as a pagan, witchy person, sometimes I buy wine to use as part of the offerings in the ritual, and like drink it too. But mostly I just use it like when I'm going to give it to a god. So since I was doing this Vicaro style initiatory thing with Minoan Dionysus, who, as I mentioned earlier, has been part of my life recently. I went to buy some wine at Trader Joe's, and I was told that I would know which wine to get, which, you know, that's often how I choose wine. I'm just like, based on the label and maybe the name of the wine, this seems to fit the god that I currently want to give it to. So, since I don't know much about wine, but so I went to the store, and I was looking at the wine aisle, and I laughed when I found the wine that I ended up getting, because I did indeed know which one to get. So I'm experiencing Dionysus very much right now in the role of the liberator, and the wine I ended up getting is called the Liberté, and the label has a drawing of someone in a Greek toga with like a crown of grape leaves or ivy or something like that. I think my friend said it was a picture by let me look it up. It was a picture by someone. Sorry, one sec. Oh, good. Finally found it. It's from a Mucha painting. I don't know how to pronounce it. M-U-C-H-A. So it was one of those. But yeah. So that was fun. For Baba Yaga, I just get vodka, and she likes that. Yeah. That's cool. It makes a lot of sense to me that she would like alcohol that is from the region of the world where she was known and honored. So I think my housemates who are my housemates who are Irish polytheist. I think they like focus on Irish whiskey and the stuff like that for their gods, which makes sense. So I wonder if there's Welsh whiskey. I could get it for Gwyn. But so far, like I haven't had the like spoons to learn about different types of alcohol, though I would like to. Like it'd be fun to learn how to mix drinks and stuff. But also I don't have a lot of money to spend, and so I knew that I wasn't going to be spending like a huge amount on wine offerings. The one I got was like $11, so because like it's, you know, for obvious reasons it isn't covered by EBT. So I was going to be using my own money on it, but I am glad that I bought it, and I also bought this good pancake bread for like the cakes part of the cakes and ale offering. So yeah, it was a fun time. But it's nice because so my Vicaro initiation was at the end of April, which is a date that's easy to for me to remember because it's right before May 1st, which is when I observe the passage from winter into summer in the Brythonic Welsh focused part of my path. It's when Gwyn fights his Gwyn, who I see as the Winter King, fights his rival, the Summer King, and dies for the summer. Then for me, as in my path, how I see it, he comes back on Halloween, which is one more reason to love that holiday. Also, it's the anniversary of my vows of dedication to him, which I also, in retrospect, see as like my sacred marriage to him. So yeah, but so that date is easy to remember, and I was thinking, oh, I should make a note of the date when this thing has been happening, and then the thought that popped into my mind that, well, yeah, he chose it because it's Pride Month. That's what I felt like I got from him, like the sense that he chose it because it's Pride Month, so it chose June because it's Pride Month, so it'd be an easy date to remember. And then I found out from a friend that I feel like I can't, like, I'm not sure I can fully accurately say this, but that my friend said something like that that Dionysus is associated with June because of there's an idea that the feast day of St. Paul in certain parts of the world, which is apparently June the 29th is like an older holiday that was associated with him. So I'm like, wow, okay. So it's fun when I experience things like in a personal gnosis type of way that turn out to have to either be shared experiences with other people, or that have a basis in like history or lore that I didn't know. That's just cool. If it feels like finding a the Easter egg. So yeah. Also, I think it's so cool that at least according to my streaming software, which I feel like doesn't always give an accurate number of people, like there are a lot more people than usual here. So thanks for being here and telling me that my weird pagan stories are actually something people want to hear. Because it is something I want to talk about on my channel. I'm just like, well, is it too weird though? Come for the crochet, stay for the witchcraft. But it is one of the major sources of joy in my life, you know, my pagan stuff, and I would say it's one of my special interests in the autism sense. So yeah. Speaking of, I've been binge watching this channel that I discovered a while ago and loved then too, but I hadn't watched it for a while. But it's this channel called Esoterica, which is it looks at the academic study of Western occultism, and it's run by this person, the professor, or the Dr. Justin Sledge. Sorry, the channel is Esoterica. So I definitely recommend that one too. I love the way that he explains things, and it just has this very dry sense of humor. Like at one point when he was doing a video during the early part of the pandemic, he happened to be talking about this text that talked about this angel of death or something that was only really a danger, as in it could move fast during times of the plague. So like that was the only time that you really had to worry about it. And then he kind of stopped and said, sorry about that, because we were in a time of plague. I mean, we kind of still are, but like back then it was really. So he'll always stop and point out when something would sound great on a metal t-shirt, like the phrase, which is a real academic phrase, clerical necromantic underground. I think he has a shirt in his shop with that phrase. But yeah. I wonder if I can finish this row by the time I have left in the stream. Oops. It's a block, not a space. Well, anyone have any fun things they want to share before we go? I like when you talk about your personal interests. I enjoy hearing your pagan stories. I wish the world was more open to the differences. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. One of the reasons I'm so open about it is because I can be, like, it's safe for me to be open, and I feel like if I'm open, then that will help make it safer for other people. Kind of like with being openly queer and trans. Speaking of my hairstyle. But yeah, oddly, well, maybe not oddly, but like I feel, in some ways, I have felt more worried about coming out as like pagan, especially around my family. They know now, but and like being open about being what's called a God spouse in the modern pagan movement, but it's basically a new name for a very old thing. Like, you know, people have had beliefs and experiences. It seems like since we started having spiritual ideas, like some people have had the experience of like being in a romantic or sexual relationship with certain beings. So it's not really a new thing, but it kind of gets. But in the modern pagan movement, there can be a strong prejudice towards that, as like, oh, those teens on Tumblr that think that they're, you know, the people that get hit hardest with it are the spouses and like partners of the god Loki. But I mean, one reason now that I'm like, it took me a while to work up the courage to come out about that too, but like now that I'm open about that, I'm like, well, if I'm open about it, and my friends have been very accepting, then I can help kind of normalize it, so that other people don't have to feel like they can't come out if they want to. Not that you should have to, but just like, yeah. I don't know why people are shocked about God spouse things. The vow taken by Christians who are dedicating their lives is the vow of marriage to their God. Yeah, that's one thing people point out, that like nuns and maybe monks, I don't know, but like especially nuns, like that looks awfully bridal. And I learned recently that in a lot of like mystery the religion things, it's like there's a lot of, at least marriage metaphors and symbolism. I like, some people may have experienced it as a marriage, but yeah, and of course it's Pride, so I'm gonna be happy about the fact that I am not just married to my God, but also gay married. So it always feels weird, like just talking about it openly, even though I want this to be a space where I can, where people can do that. But I'm often like, well, you know, I'm considered to be in a sacred marriage because of my vows. I'm like, but in but with friends, I'm just like, yeah, I'm married to my husband who happens to be a god. Um, oh, cool. Some nuns actually wear a ring as a symbol of their marriage to God, thorn or the various other symbols. Well, that makes sense to me. I also do that. This awesome ring with the silver the antlers. I got it on the Etsy actually. So I was like, I want something that looks like people know that it's a marriage ring, but also because like I'm wearing it on this finger, but I want something that looks a bit odd and like otherworldly, so people kind of get the idea. Well, there's something weird, so it's not quite a normal marriage, but it's still a marriage. So I have had to learn how to keep it from getting caught on things like yarn, though, and there was one time recently when I was reaching into my bag with like my skeins of yarn, and I was like, wow, I'm actually really good by this point about not getting it caught on yarn because I didn't. So yay. Actually, I'll probably finish this off camera because it is past 12. But thank you so much for hanging out and looking at my new hairstyle. And hearing my stories and just being an awesome group of goats. Winter, I love how your goat is always like too short, and he's just like. But yeah, so have a great day, a goat day. It's time to goat.